So welcome everybody and welcome to Capgemini Build events. I am Donald Hessing and the Microsoft lead within Digital Customer Experience and your host for tonight. In this episode, Bas Bergstra and Ritchey Hazeu will talk you through the new Microsoft Dynamics marketing capabilities and how this relates to ClickDimensions. He will do this by the use of a customer journey. In the second half of this episode, Ritchey will pick it up where Bas has left and discuss how to automate marketing and sales gap, with the goal of a smooth handover and how you can actually classify the lead and move that to the sales process. Bas, the floor is yours.
Thank you. My name is Bas Bergstra and I'm a managing consultant at Capgemini in the Netherlands, an expert for Microsoft Dynamics 365. Today we will explain and show you how marketing has become the new pre-sales, and we will also compare Microsoft Dynamics 365 marketing with ClickDimensions to see how and if these two solutions differ from each other. Before we will dive into Dynamics marketing, we will, I would like to share a bit on marketing automation. Because first of all, what is marketing? Well, marketing is the new sales, and there's several reasons for that. First of all, customers or leads are not talking to sales anymore initially in the sales process because they are browsing corporate websites. They are contacting peers in social media to find out more about their needs, potential vendors, and finally they're also consuming a lot of online content to become more sophisticated, and then they decide where they want to aim at. So that means that 60% of the sale is already completed before the actual start of the sales engagement. And a key element in this are the customer journeys, because the customer journeys are the steps that leads and prospects follow before they will actually make the purchase. The experiences that customers have, or leads obviously, determine whether or not they will proceed their customer journey that will lead to the purchase of your product or the product of your clients. So those experiences are decisive. When we look at marketing automation solutions for Dynamics marketing, for Dynamics 365 that is, we can see that both solutions offer different kind of pitches, because Microsoft pitches their product as the solution that will turn prospects into business relationships by engagement in meaningful and personalized ways. And this is really key to remember later on in the demo that I will give. On the other hand, the pitch for ClickDimensions seems to be a bit more technical, because they focus on being a platform for marketing, intelligence, analytics, and services for Dynamics. When we look at the marketing challenge, it's important to understand, well, this is something, the first quote that I already learned back in college, that marketing is all about waste, because a lot of expenditure in marketing is waste, because it's not effective. Well, as I said in college, or at least when I was in college, they used to say that half of the spend was waste. Well, now it seems like 2/3, or 2/3 is actually waste. And the reason for that is that many organizations nowadays seem to fail to meet the critical success factors for marketing automation or marketing in general. When we zoom into those critical success factors, we can see that understanding customer motivations, delivery via appropriate media mix, and accurate messaging are the keys, or are the critical success factors, and they are interrelated. So if organizations understand these critical success factors well, then they will become successful and have less waste. When we look at the features of both Microsoft Dynamics 365 and ClickDimensions, we can see that for each critical success factor, there is a number of features available. And although the names for those features are different, like Dynamics Marketing refers to segments, whereas ClickDimensions refers to marketing lists, which is actually resembling the old name of marketing for Dynamics CRM in the old days. Those features actually do the same thing, as we will show in a bit. The other features show a similar pattern, like customer journeys. They're called customer journeys, obviously, in Microsoft Dynamics 365, while in ClickDimensions, they're referred to as campaign automations, but they are serving the same purpose. Finally, when we look at messaging, both solutions offer, well, marketing emails that can be personalized, as well as marketing content on the internet, referred to as web content in case of ClickDimensions. Well, after this short introduction of a bit of theory, I would like to zoom into the journey that we will use for the demo, which is about the Contoso 3D printer. Because over here, there's an overview of the customer journey that in this case, Carleen Avery, or Avery for that matter, positioned on the top right, will pursue when she's becoming interested in purchasing a 3D printer, which is positioned on the top, on the below right here. This is a 3D printer. And as you could see, this customer journey contains several marketing initiatives, but most importantly, 60% of this customer journey has to do with marketing. So before sales comes into play, already 60% has been completed. And as I just stated, it's important or critical for that matter that the experiences that Carleen has during the first part of the customer journey, the 60%, is positive, because otherwise she will move to another supplier of 3D printers. And the final 40% is obviously about sales engagement. While sales engagement, especially since the coronavirus crisis that we are facing today, is a tough call because salespeople are now very limited in having face-to-face meetings. So this even strengthens the importance of the marketing part of the customer journey, because it needs to be very effective. Otherwise, the remaining 40% might still be a challenge. So before I will zoom into the demo, let me please request you to enter questions in the chat window. And because of time constraints, we will try to deal with those questions after the demo in a short Q&A part. Now let's zoom into Dynamics Marketing, because now, as you could see, this is a welcome message to Alicia. And Alicia is our marketing manager, and she's responsible for setting up the customer journey for the 3D printer. Well, as you saw in the previous slide, the customer journey will start with a social post. And let me illustrate how that looks in Microsoft Dynamics Marketing. It's now loading a calendar. And this calendar provides an overview of all the social posts that were set or planned in the next days or in the past. And if we look at the specific post, for example, this one for the 3D printer, and we can click on it, it's showing more details about the post. So now it's loading the screen with details about the printer post. For example, over here, you can select the channel. Obviously, you can also add the message, and you can add media. And the media, well, it can regard images, and they will be included in the Twitter post. So let's see how that looks. And for that, I will show a short video. So this is Carleen opening a browser, and she will go to Twitter to find the post that was published by Alicia. As you can see, the post resembles the information that was entered in Microsoft Dynamics, as well as the image of the 3D printer. Because this is interesting to Carleen, she clicks on the link that came along with the post, and this link leads to a landing page with information about the 3D printer. When she when she looks at the information, she becomes more interested, and more important, she's actually interested in the brochure about the 3D printer, and she enters her details. And those details are obviously important because they allow for a follow-up of the customer journey. As you could see over here, I pause a bit because the preferred contact method, this is something that's important for the follow-up, as I will show in just a bit. Let's proceed with the video. There's a nice thank you confirmation that was also set up in Dynamics Marketing. And when she proceeds the journey, I will show what happens, because as you could see in her inbox, there's a free brochure, a product brochure. And this email was sent via Dynamics Marketing. She opens up the email, and it shows content that was also generated via Dynamics Marketing, including the brochure, obviously. And the fact that she has opened the email and reviewed it is registered in Dynamics. And this leads to the next part of the journey, which is the fact that another email will be sent to her as part of the customer journey. Let's see where it goes. Okay, let's return real quick here. So the inbox now also contains an invite for the event. And the event is the Contoso 3D print show. When she looks to the details of the invite, she becomes interested, and she hits the Register Now button. And this information is also generated via Dynamics Marketing, and it includes information about the speakers, obviously, but also the sessions, of course. And this will trigger more interest for the 3D printer, because he now also wants to register for the event. And this is another landing page, obviously, for the registration. So when Carleen has entered her details, she can enter the checkout, and she will receive an invite for the event, obviously. So let me now return to our user, which is Alicia Tamber. And Alicia is responsible for, obviously, for the customer journey. So let me now zoom into the customer journey that she has set up. Let's discard this, because over here is an overview of all the customer journeys, and the customer journeys of the video are included here. Because as you could see, this journey, this is an overview of the journey, contains tiles, and in each tile represents a scheduler, an event, or an action. For example, this is the action, and then the email is sent. And for example, over here we have a scheduler, like we need to wait before an hour after she was registered for the event, and then the event can take place. And if she attended the event, she can be created as lead. So let's now zoom into that, because over here in the section lead, there is Carleen Avery, our lead, and she has been registered into the system. Her details are here, just as she entered them in the website, as well as the topic, because obviously she's interested in the 3D printer, in the brochure. And over here you find a lead score. And this means that she has earned, so to speak, a number of points. And those points, make her interesting as a lead. And let's zoom into the scoring model, because the scoring model informs how the points are being given. Because over here you find an overview of conditions and actions. For example, if a lead opens up an email, then that lead earns 20 points. On the other hand, if somebody downloads like the form, then 40 points are earned. Well, if we return to the lead again, we can see in the business process flow, I assume that most people are familiar with the business process flow. If not, this is like the process that's being completed before the lead can be qualified. Now, the lead is in the so-called teleprospecting stage. And this is, well, a Microsoft term for telemarketing. And that means that it's now time to move to another character of our demo, because our telemarketer, it's Sanya Shah, and she will find the same lead as we just saw in the list of marketing page leads. And to follow up on this lead, Sanya will click the call guide, and the call guide will lead to forms. Well, that's the feature that's listed over here. And this is a call guide to find out more information about the lead, like not only personal details, but also business details. And this can be used, well, obviously because we have her telephone number. And after this information has been entered, the teleprospector can set this field over here as accepted, and then this lead will be handed over to sales. And sales will then follow up to do the actual qualification, because at this point the lead has still not been completed as qualified. Well, let me now return to the presentation, because I would like to make a comparison between Dynamics Marketing and ClickDimensions. And I will do that not by zooming into the actual application of ClickDimensions, but by comparing a few screens of critical features. First of all, if you look at the customer journey, we already saw it. It's really important to understand that the customer journey functionality in Dynamics contains insights, and insights are used for statistics. And when we look at the equivalent of ClickDimensions, first of all, this is the ClickDimensions form. There is not an overview of the journey yet. You still have to click on Open Builder, and that's a button in the ribbon. And the builder will then open the overview of the customer journey. And, well, you can tell that the icons look quite different, but also the functionality, like the insights, is missing here. If we compare another area of the functionality, like the social post, like I mentioned, the calendar contains an overview of all the posts, whereas in ClickDimensions, here are the details for the post. In ClickDimensions, there is no overview of the posts that are scheduled. Moreover, you need to have a connector for a social profile. So it seems to be a bit more effort than in Dynamics Marketing to set up a social post. Another area that I would like to compare is the landing page, because the landing page in Dynamics can be prepared, but also previewed, as you can see over here. On the other hand, if we look at the landing pages in ClickDimensions, they do not include a preview. Well, not directly for that matter. I mean, if you open the design page, it opens up a separate pop-up screen, and that comes along with a designer and a preview. So it seems like it's a bit more effort to set up landing pages in ClickDimensions. Another area has to do with the lead scoring model. The lead scoring model in Dynamics, as I just showed, looks very straightforward. You could easily determine how the points are earned. On the other hand, if we look at ClickDimensions, not only do you have to change the navigation area over here on the below left, but you also need to look quite careful to find the score settings. And if you find them, you will see that it's quite limited to set scores. You only have scores available for certain events, so it's not really scalable. Finally, if we look at the lead qualification process, well, this is actually an area which has the most similarities between the two solutions. Because if we look at this screen for Dynamics Marketing and compare it with ClickDimensions, you could see that the form looks quite similar, but also the business process flow, which makes perfect sense because that's easy to mimic. But the key thing missing here is the lead score, because it's not really prominent visible. In addition, you also miss out on the relationship analytics if you opt for ClickDimensions, as well as the LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Well, this brings up the verdict. If we compare the two solutions for marketing automation, Dynamics 365, the critical success factors for the marketing challenge, again, the challenge is that there is a lot of waste. They can be fulfilled, pretty much by both applications. They both comply. So it seems like it's a matter of taste whether or not you will opt for Dynamics 365 marketing or for ClickDimensions. I personally kind of prefer Microsoft Dynamics Marketing, even though that the license model of ClickDimensions seems to be more economical. That is that it's less costly. Moreover, the customer support of ClickDimensions is also outstanding, even without having an official subscription. They provide a lot of support, so that is kind of in favor of ClickDimensions. Well, that brings us to the next element of this presentation, which are the questions and answers. So let's find out if there are any questions and answers in the chat.
So, Bas, thank you very much for your presentation. At this moment, we don't have any questions, so I think everything is crystal clear. I did prepare a little question for you. What I really liked about your talk is how you laid out the customer journey and walked through the marketing process, and how important it is that you focus your 60% of that cycle on marketing, where the other 40% is on sales. I know you as someone who is advocating that marketing and sales needs to work very closely together, because in order to have this efficient process. With regards to marketing and sales working together, do you see any trend in this happening, in how to smoothen this?
Yeah, I think the trend, first of all, is really leveraged, by Dynamics, because the Dynamics platform now, offers two very powerful solutions. Because in the past, it used to be that sales was really strong, but marketing was kind of lagging. But now with the Dynamics 365 platform, both sales and marketing, can opt for the same solution. And that brings them naturally together in the same application. So that's like the first real enablement, so to speak, of those two parties working together. Another thing is that in the past, many marketing departments really used to outsource a lot of things like campaigns to agencies. And now, because the marketing maturity in organizations is increasing, they're now also able to run campaigns themselves. And then when they are configuring Dynamics Marketing, they are sharing the same data as sales and vice versa. So that also really helps out So actually, my point is that it's all thanks to Dynamics marketing. Now, I'm just kidding. It's not really like that, but in real life, it's also because of the larger trend that if you look at consumers, they are more and more focused on online content, but that the same consumer is obviously also a business person. So what somebody does in private is also likely behavior in a business-to-business context. So companies are more or less obliged to comply with that.
Yeah, that makes sense. And having that data now in one application helps.
Exactly. The common data service, really makes it really easy for the information that was, because it goes both ways, right? I mean, if sales has found out things about their customers, that can also be used to do segmentation by marketing for new products and services. So it works both ways. And through the common data service, they use the same data indeed.
And do you see maybe that's one bridge too far for now, but do you see a trend where maybe marketing and sales work more closely together, or maybe even become one department?
No, I still think that it's that there's a motivation to have both specialties, both business functions, because what we also expect or see is that sales become more technical. And in the end of the day, that's where they add value. Like if you go to a car dealership, you don't expect the car dealer to provide like basic information anymore, but you really expect them to come up with added value in the conversation. So sales is definitely here to stay, but their role will become, I guess, more specialized, more technical, to add value. So they really need to add value on top of the things that marketing has already provided to customers.
Okay, and with that online experience, the handover from marketing to sales becomes even more important, right? Because sales has accessibility on that user. So with all the information gathered from online channels, you don't want to have that frustration by the end user to reach out on either not their preferred channel or information that has already been collected through that journey.
Yes, indeed, because obviously it's quite cumbersome if sales comes up with like in the demo, if they propose, well, have you already seen our brochure? I can send it to you, and the lead in our case has well read the brochure way before. So sales needs to also be aware of the fact that certain events took place, like also the attendance of the event with the demo, so they can zoom into that, and that's why the handover from marketing to sales is quite critical, because sales really need to know what has happened before in the journey and where they can add value.
Yeah, that makes sense. In the meantime, we have one question from the visitors. From Colin from Meulen. If you need to call out one feature that would be determining factor to make the choice between Dynamics 365 for marketing and ClickDimensions, which feature would that be?
Well, after having used both applications, I think it has to do with the usability, because in the end of the day, when we do projects at clients, we first configure the solution. And then we hand over like a configured solution to the business users. And what I found is that if you do a handover of the solution in in Dynamics Marketing, it's way more intuitive than it is in ClickDimensions. So usability, I think it's key, because obviously we are involved during the project stage, but when things are moving to operations, then it's really important to have a user-friendly application that is easy to learn, right?
Yes, that makes sense. With that, Bas, I would like to thank you, and then we move over to the second half of this Build Talk, which is, I think, related to this topic, and that's the how to smoothen the handover from the qualified lead to the sales process. And Ritchey will talk you through that process and how you can automate some of those steps so that we don't lose some of that information that we have collected during the marketing process, which then can be used for the sales process, for the salespeople to be picked up. So Ritchey, please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Donald. So hi and welcome to this Microsoft Dynamics 365 webinar. And it's about automating the marketing and sales gap. My name is Ritchey Hazeu. I'm a senior Dynamics 365 consultant working at Capgemini, of course, as you see. And in this webinar, I would like to show you the handover from marketing to sales and how things around that can be automated. Firstly, I would like to talk about this one solution. So with all of the new features coming to Microsoft Dynamics 365 for marketing, as you just saw at the demo from Bas, of course, and with all the new features it has to offer, it becomes much more efficient to combine it with the sales and the service module. Which gap are we actually talking about? Well, especially within enterprise companies, we see a tremendous amount of leads being generated, and also what Bas just said, maybe because of partners, which is outsourced, etc., etc. So, in a lot of cases, the unfiltered leads are directly going to the sales team, which have to filter and sort them to find those golden nuggets. And even if they find the really good quality, high quality leads, it's fingers crossed if they even contain enough information. So we believe that this handover can be greatly improved. Well, Microsoft already did a great job in bringing these two modules together, but with the use of Power Platform, it can be even further improved. So the automation part can be further improved with the use of the Power Platform. Yeah, so the one solution, the marketing module got extended a lot. And the marketing module is really the key in gathering those customer demands. And in the lead entity, it's really the key entity within this process between marketing and sales. All of the information is being gathered, or hopefully being gathered. But we will have some solutions for that in a minute. And all of the information which is gathered within this lead entity is being handed over to the sales department. Well, the lead contains already so much information, so this means that it's really it's more easy for the salesperson to approach the prospect in the right way, because they have so much details about the customer. Well, and since the marketing team fulfills so much more pre-sales work, the sales team does have more space to develop their technical knowledge about the product or the service. And with this technical knowledge, it's much easier to connect with the customer service department. And all of this to make the process easier and smoother, and to better help the customer also in the end. So which gap are we talking about? I've defined 3 problems. One of them is the low quality leads. But as we just saw, the tooling and the scoring functionalities within this marketing module are now so good to define a threshold, like this is a high quality lead, and then it can be handed over to the sales department. So we got a problem, low quality leads, but we can mitigate it with the new sales, with the new marketing module. Then we have another problem, and that's the high quantity leads. There's a high quantity leads being generated and handed over to sales. But how can we mitigate that? Well, we only give the sales team a view, and that is a high quality lead view. And the marketing team just defined this is a high quality lead, and this can be handed over to the sales department. That's the high quantity leads. It would be even better to have a high quantity of high quality leads, of course, but in the end, you see, the higher the quantity, the lower the quality gets. And then we have a third problem, that's the handover between marketing and sales. But with so much information in the common data services these days, it's easier to extend the data which is in the lead entity, and extend this lead entity with all of the necessary information that they need to help the customer. Yeah, so the three problems and how to mitigate them. Then the automation part. We all know the standard functionalities of Dynamics 365. It's the business process flows, it's the business rules, it's the real-time workflows. The async workflows can now all be built in Flow, so it's mostly the real-time workflows which are still within the standard functionality. And another one, a really important one, is the Power Platform. Well, the easiest way to use the Power Platform is to use Power Automate flows. It's like a few clicks, and you can put a field in another field and really use data from other sources to extend, in this case, the lead entity. And the flows can also be more easily transported from your development environment to your production environment, because you can just put the flows in your solution, and now also the connectors stay attached. So a few months ago, that was not the case. So within flows, you also got connectors, but they got disconnected when you move your flow to a next department. So let's say you had 10 flows. Every time you move them to the next department, you had to reconnect this connector, which was really some hassle and not good for your DevOps process. So we got the Power Platform, but we also got Azure, and within Azure, we've got Logic Apps. So if you already got an Azure environment within your organization, it's really nice to benefit from the Logic Apps. And why can you benefit from it? Well, it has the same UI as Power Automate. So if you open it, it almost looks the same, but it's much faster. So when you, for example, create very heavy integrations, then Logic Apps can be a very nice solution. There are some downsides to Logic Apps, so it doesn't have all of the functionalities that Power Automate has. But it's so much faster and built for more heavier processes. So I would like to zoom in on the Power Platform. We've got the 4 most important pillars on the Power Platform. That's the Power BI, the Power Apps, the Power Automate, and the Power Virtual Agents. Well, the Power BI tooling can be used to build the reports in Power BI, really the customized reports for the organizations, and integrate them into Dynamics 365 dashboards, which is really strong. We used it within a lot of organizations, and it's really strong. And especially the business people, the management people really likes this. And besides that, we've got the Power Apps, which are custom apps which can be showcased in either the Dynamics module or on mobile or even on Teams. And besides that, we have Power Automate to support the whole process. We can build flows to automate stuff. Yeah, and the 4th one is the Power Virtual Agents. Like within 5 minutes, you have a bot who can talk back and talk to the customer. But these days it costs quite a lot of time to build a nice bot and a good bot which you really showcase on your website. It will cost some time, but within 5 minutes you can see what is actually useful from this Power App. And below that, we've got the data connectors. So let's say you need to connect an Oracle database, or you need to use other different services. Then you can use the data connectors, and you can also build custom data connectors. So let's say you need to connect an on-premise database, and you can build a custom data connector. Then you have the AI builders, and AI builder these days is still a little bit limited, but you can use it for, let's say your organization gets a lot of invoices. Then this AI builder can read those invoices and transform documents into data. And this AI builder is learning from your invoices and is getting better and better in reading those invoices and transforming the data to your system. That's just one example. They have also a few other toolings, but this is one example which you can use from the AI builder. And besides that, you have the Dataverse, which was usually called Common Data Services, but now they have another rename again, and it's called Dataverse. And that's really like below all of your apps with all of the data which you can use to showcase it. Yes. Okay. Yeah, you've just seen this this picture displayed from Bas Bergstra. So we've got this customer, Colleen Avery. She's a customer at Contoso. Oh, she's not a customer yet at Contoso, but she's interested into Contoso products. And she goes to Twitter. She goes to a landing page, to the email. She goes to an invite, or she comes to a landing page and she registers for an invite and attends an event. And then she gets some questions by a telemarketer, which she fills in a Microsoft, which the telemarketer fills in a Microsoft form. So indeed, as you can see, a lot of work these days is being done by the marketing department. It's really shifting to the left, to the marketing department, where 40% is shifting to the right on the sales department. So yeah, if you look at this customer journey, you would expect a couple of crucial things to be on the lead. So this is the request for the brochure, for the product brochure. This is the event registration, and this is the telemarketer Q&A. So in the next demo, we got a post for request brochure, so that's on the lead. We got an event activity for the event that Colleen Avery went to. But the telemarketing Q&A is not there yet. So yeah, the data is there in the form, in the Microsoft form, but it's not there in the common data services yet. So in demo, I really would like to enrich this lead. So all of the things which were generated, all of the data which was generated by the marketing team is also really on the lead. So the handover from marketing to sales is really smooth. So all of the data is in there, which is gathered. So that a sales person can just look at the lead and see like, okay, well, yeah, everything is in there. Let's contact this person. Yeah. So let's move over to the demo. So I would like to start where Bas Bergstra stopped his demo, and that's when the sales ready checkbox went to yes. So the lead is sales ready by and defined by marketing, and the lead is handed over to the sales department. So let me open my Dynamics environment. There it is. And we've created a custom view for the sales department. So as you can see on the left down side, as you can see, we defined a custom view for the sales department with only the high quality leads. So only when they had a checkbox at sales ready. So let's open this lead, Colleen Avery, created by Bas Bergstra, as you can see. So all of the information is in there. We see a nice picture from her. We generated a lot of data. She went to a printer event. She answered some Q&As from the telemarketer, and she got a product brochure. So the salesperson can immediately see like, okay, she took all of these steps. But what we do actually miss here is the data from the Microsoft form. And in this demo, I would like to show you how to get this data from the form to this lead form. And we would like to do that when the handover is taking place. So when the marketing team is telling us, yes, the sales is ready. So let's put it back to no for now, because it is not ready yet. We are still missing some data. And we move over to, but let me first show you the form again, for if you forgot it. So it's a Microsoft form, ESM TELUS prospecting call guide with all of the answers and questions and which company and etc. etc. We got an answer for that. So let's move back to Dynamics, and then we are gonna use Power Automate to extract this data from the form and put it on the lead form. Yeah, so we move over to Power Automate, and we're gonna create a new flow, an automated flow. Yeah, we call it extract data. Oh. We are using the common data service because we want to let it run on an update of the lead entity. Yeah, so the trigger condition, as you can see, is an update. And here we will choose the entity name. And in this case, it's the lead entity. Use it here. And the scope, let's run it on organization. Let's use it for everyone. Yeah, and then we will get some new options. We want to filter it on the field that's sales, new sales ready field. Yeah, so we want to trigger this update on the new sales ready field. So if this one is changed, we want to do something. And the expression is new sales ready equals true. So only when the sales ready field is going to true, the flow will trigger. And then you can also do some other stuff, but in this case we will not use it. So let's go to now we want to extract the data from the form. We go to Microsoft Form, and then you see the step, the connector get response details. So here you see it. And if you click on this one, you can see all of the forms within your organization which you can use for extracting the data from. You can also make this response ID dynamically. There are some options for that, but in this case we just hard-code it and choose one of the responses. Yeah, so this is like extracting the data, and then we want to bring it back, of course. This is a new one, I see, predict, haven't seen it yet. So we want to bring it back to Dynamics 365, and the entity name is lead. And we grab the GUID from the one which is running, so we can just dynamically put it in. Here you already see the questions and answers, but we are going to use the lead ID. Put it in here, and we would like to bring back the job title from Carleen Avery. And then we use the question job title. Yeah, so let's save this one. Let's go back one step. It's turned on, and then you move over to the lead entity. And let's say we go back to the marketing team, and the marketing team is telling this lead is sales ready. It can go to the sales department. So clicking on yes, save. And then the flow is running, I hope. And it's running, and it's really fast. And then we can refresh the form, and then we can see that Carleen Avery is a purchaser. And that's extra information for the sales team, which they can use to better target like the customer. And then the sales ready is yes. So this is the process which is the sales is using. It's actually also the same as marketing was using. So I see this as a downside. You cannot use two processes. So for marketing one and for sales one, both departments have to use the same process. Once a process is started, they really have to use that. So I believe that's one of the downsides of the solution, but hopefully they will still change that. Yeah, so the salesperson is probably doing a follow-up. They will call her. It depends on the preference which they would like to be called, or an email or whatever. But in this case, they will do a follow-up. So they give a call to Carleen Avery with a date, and the sales accepted the lead and would like to transfer it to an opportunity. Carleen is very interested because of the product, of course. Yeah, so we will save it, and then we can qualify it. Yes, to transfer all of the data, of course, to the opportunity, which takes a lot of time. And then you can see an opportunity is generated with all of the activities attached, with all of the data, and also a contact is automatically generated. Yeah, so in quite a short time, we've defined a high-quality lead. We extracted data from the Microsoft form. So let me go back to the presentation. I believe it's better to explain it. Is this one? Yeah, so what did we do this in this demo? We showcased that there's another very important solution coming into Dynamics 365, which is the marketing solution. And it's really one solution which you can bring to every customer these days, because it's so extended. And besides that, the marketing module got in love with the sales module, and they are really making each other better. And besides that, we have generated form details with Power Automate and brought it back to the Dynamics 365 to extend the lead for the sales department. So that was the webinar from my side. So back to Donald.
Yes, thank you so much, Ritchey, about your presentation. I really liked how you extended the data by using Microsoft Flow, extracted the data from forms in this case, but it could be basically any front end that you use to collect that data, and use that data in the end to create the lead and even generate the contact out of that. Let me check if there are any questions. There are no questions yet.
Must be.
I think it's, again, crystal clear. Maybe one question for you, Ritchey. You mentioned Microsoft Flow, but you also in your introduction mentioned maybe some other integration tools that you can use. Can you maybe elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah, you can also, for example, use logic apps. So if your organization is a little bit more mature, you could also, for example, build your flows into logic apps. But that's only preferable for really the heavy processes. I would not, for the thing we just built, I think Power Automate is awesome. It's great. Do not change it. But for the more heavy stuff, I would definitely recommend logic apps.
And with heavy, you mean heavy processes that need to extract large amount of data that you might want to have in real time or near real time.
Yeah, especially, exactly. So the large amount of data. So let's say if you put 100,000 records in Power Automate, it will not run. It's too heavy. It's too much. But within enterprise companies where we especially also work for, 100,000 records is not. It's something which comes up quite easily and quite often. So in these cases, if you need to run a lot of data, then definitely I would use the logic apps. Yeah.
All right. Well, with that, there are no further questions. Ritchey, I would really like to thank you. Bas Bergstra, I would like to thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
A small announcement. The next build event is at December 8th, and that will be about blockchain. And with that, I would like to thank all attendees. If there are any questions left, I think there will be emails provided to have a direct line for answers. With that, thanks all, and have a great evening.
Thanks, Donald. See you.
Thanks. Bye.